Welcome back, boys and girls, to episode 42 of the Nerd Chills podcast. This is Adam Diaz, and with me, as always, is CJ. How are you doing, CJ?
I am doing great. It feels kind of weird to be recording again because we just recorded on Wednesday, so now I'm back doing it again.
I know.
So it feels like I've already done the podcast, but I really haven't.
Yeah, I was like, we're going back in the office already? That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Sitting in the third chair, who wasn't there for the Wednesday recording session, is Charlie. Welcome back, Charlie.
Hello.
Hello. We were recording the first pilot episode of The Expected Journey, CJ's Dungeons & Dragons podcast. Not gonna lie, I mean, I am one of the players in it, so I'm a little bit biased, but it was super fucking fun. I had a blast. Things were killed. Mistakes were made. I howled with laughter.
Somebody almost died.
Somebody almost died in the prologue, so just saying, 5.0 makes you such a bitch at first level, but you guys will get to hear that sooner or later. We still got to get it approved through iTunes and all that fun stuff, which does take some time, but that first episode is in the can and ready to go, so I'm super excited for that. But to start the show, as per usual, let's go with ladies first, since Robin's not here and you guys are the minority today.
Yep.
Charlie?
Yay, minorities.
Yay.
Wait, you're still the minority. CJ and I are white.
I hate my life.
Oh, so Adam goes first.
I haven't been playing anything. Robin has made it very
Minority.
clear to me that I'm not allowed to, so
Minority gender first.
we'll go minority gender first. So,
Okay.
Charlie, what have you been playing?
I've just been playing South Park. South
Tell
Park
us
is amazing.
all about South Park.
Oh,
What's
up?
CJ?
No, CJ, what's up?
I just had a question for Charlie. What was that code I gave you?
Oh, it's for a pack of items. It's like a outfit.
It's like Twitch theme stuff, right? I'm assuming it's all purple.
Yeah, it was like I can't remember what it's called. It's called like cyber something, but it's all purple and it's like a hoodie or it's like a beanie and a jacket and
For characters in game in South Park.
Gotcha. Okay.
Nice.
So now I look cool.
So
Although
how's the game been for you?
it's really good. It's a lot like the first one. Honestly, they didn't like reinvent the wheel there. I feel like the combat is a little bit more comprehensive, and they added some cool features like you can use kind of like combat moves to do little like puzzle things throughout the environment, which is kind of neat. It's a lot like the other one, but I still love it.
Is it true you can fight Morgan Freeman?
I've heard that you do fight Morgan Freeman. Right now, he just has a taco shop, which I don't remember that ever being in the show, so I'm not sure where that came from, but he has Freeman's Tacos.
Nice.
I think it's just a funny thing to do.
That they just added in for fun.
Yeah. But yeah, he has his own taco shop, and he like helps you through the game, and you have to like make certain burritos and tacos to like give yourself better farts for certain things.
That sounds pretty accurate. It sounds very lifelike. So.
Well, there was something in the game called Fart Core, so...
Yes, so there's this like jumping thing you do to get to different areas with one of the other characters, and it's called Fartcore.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't know. I like it a lot. It's cool because they have a lot of the newer stuff in there, like you discover like member berries and stuff like that. But at the same time, they have some super old shit in there. Like one of the summons you can do is for Moses, and it's like the
Dreidel.
diamond-shaped Moses from Jubilee.
That's
like,
awesome.
Super old episodes. So
For continuity's sake, he is in fact a dreidel that's spinning. So that's why he looks like that.
okay.
It took me like 3 episodes to realize, like, oh, they made Moses a dreidel. Racist. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's all I've been playing pretty much.
Cool.
Oh, and I downloaded categories for my phone.
That's awesome. That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
So hardcore gamer right there. CJ, what have you been playing, bro?
I've still been playing a little bit of Call of Duty, a little bit less because I'm getting kind of burnt out on Call of Duty 4. Just waiting for the new one to drop. That's in about 13 or so days. It's getting pretty close.
It is
10
indeed.
years after they made Call of Duty 4, CJ is finally ready to give it up.
Right.
Yeah,
After he's gone back to it so
it's-
much.
It's there, and it's not even the game at this point. It's the fact the Juggernaut still gets me, but that thing just pisses me off. But other than that, I've been playing a little bit more Fortnite with some friends every once in a while. Went back and played a couple rounds of Friday the 13th, which was really fun.
I love that game.
And then just various kind of things here and there, trying to find new games on my phone. I tried some games that Meadows, one of the listeners on the show, recommended. Just, I guess not my cup of tea per se.
He's basically saying, Meadows, if you're listening, fuck you, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, you suck. So Don't ever recommend anything again.
That's what I heard.
I'm just not a big. I'm just not a very patient person, so I have a hard time playing those games where it's like, do this now, wait, do this now, wait, do this now, wait. I just can't do it. I can't wait.
Right.
I don't like waiting. It's stupid. Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Awesome. I want to do almost the exact same things. I was really wanting to play Friday the 13th. I didn't get to last weekend during the double XP weekend, so I was like, I'll play a little bit this week. Didn't happen. Wanted to play Fortnite. Didn't happen. Basically every day of my week was filled with some project from Robin. We made ghosts out of like cornstarch and cheesecloth. We did our pumpkins. I did the Ghostbusters logo, and it's kind of fucking sweet, even though like all the lines are jagged and it looks like a retarded third grader did it. In fact, that's rude to a retarded third grader, because I'm sure they could do better than I did. It looked terrible.
I thought it looked okay.
It's all right. If you look at it when the light's not like if you look at it in the light, where it just looks like a pumpkin, it looks like hacked to death. When it's illuminated from the back, you're like, oh, it's a Ghostbusters logo. It's like, yes, it kind of is.
Cutting in circles is
But everything
hard.
looks better
It is.
illuminated from the back, so.
I like that. That sounds good. That'll be
Yeah.
the name of the episode.
All right,
Illuminated from the back. It's perfect. But yeah, I literally haven't played anything. I played a little bit of Pokemon Go because they released those
The
new ghost
ones?
types.
Did you
So,
find
yeah.
any of them?
Yeah, I found almost all of them. We
Oh.
walked like 3 miles today to a
Dang.
like Halloween gathering in one of the parks by our house and hung out there for a little while. But that was about it. I was
So,
active in the world and
You're
doing activities.
recording a video game podcast and you didn't even play any video games? What are you doing, man?
Correct. I played this. It's like Goat Simulator. If it was like Human Simulator, that's basically what I played. But it was in like really super intense VR. So it was crazy.
Gotcha.
And I played some more Horizon Zero Dawn. I did that last Sunday.
I did
Game
see
was
you
very
playing that.
fun.
I was going to take a picture of it and send it in the group chat and be like, what?
Right. Game is very fun. It's very, very pretty. There's a couple things that have bugged me, but it's just very minute things where I feel like I'm an idiot in combat. And I'm sure the stronger I get, I'll go back in there and be like, I have no problems with this now. It's not a
Like
problem
what?
with the game. It's a problem with me. So
Like what?
there's this like tripwire that you can do. And if you check the paths for certain things, like using your technology, you can see where they're going to like run, like where their path is when they're patrolling. But certain animals don't have that. They just like go in the direction. Like anytime I have a tripwire down and I try and attract something to hit me, it doesn't. It like goes around. It's like, fuck that. I see your tripwire, bro.
What about the rocks? Do you throw the rocks?
I do when I'm hiding, and I do stealth kills fairly well. But if I try and just get them to charge me, like if there's no tripwire down and I stand up, they're
I
like,
see.
kill it. But if I have tripwires down and I stand
They're
up,
like,
they're
I don't
like,
know, it seems fishy.
that's exactly what happens every time. And I'm just like, I feel like I'm fucking fishing right now, where they're all just like, that worm doesn't look right. It's got a hook through it.
From what I will say, I think later in the game, there are very few things I've encountered that don't have patterns. And then at the same time, I mean, I don't know how far you are exactly, but at the same time, there's usually always something. So, like, I'll set the tripwire down, and then I'll just attract them with rocks into the tripwire, because I love to throw rocks. I'm like, here,
That's
there's a rock
hilarious.
for you.
I am obsessed with collecting herbs and basically any flower I see. So I'm just running through this giant wilderness, and all I'm doing is like picking up flowers, and I like look around. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a giant open world game, and I have so much more to do. So, but I didn't get to play it too much, but that's about it. As far as what I've been watching, we did post that robot battles thing that was on Twitch.
Yeah.
It was fucking terrible.
Really?
Yeah, these things are huge. I'll give them that.
I heard about that on NPR, and I was like, I want to watch it, and then I forgot.
It was like, okay, these things are huge. They're what you think like they would be. They're not like Gundam sized, but they're legitimately like 10 to 15
Decent
feet tall.
sized.
They have to man them. They have an actual cockpit
Yeah, they
for
have
all
two
of them.
people, right? Some of them have two people.
I think some of them had two people. I think they might have only had one though, but they had multiple different robots. But the thing that drove me crazy about it is like, obviously you don't want to hurt the person in the cockpit.
I don't know.
So you have to. I mean, if I'm doing robot battles,
Yeah.
I'm doing it all
To
the
the
way.
death.
Like you
Oh,
should
yeah,
make
I'm
your
going
cage.
for blood.
Sorry,
Yeah.
your insides are all human and shit.
I would be like, if the driver gets hurt, we stop the match. But I wouldn't say like avoid it. But they are trying to avoid different things. So, like the first match, it's just a giant robot with like a fist that he held out, and he just like drove into the other guy and knocked his bot over. And I was like, that's kind of fucking lame. And as I'm watching it, it's like that feeling when you watch BattleBots for the first time. We're like, oh, like the highlights of this show look really cool, and then you watch it, and it's like two machines that don't work properly that can barely hit each other, and then get destroyed by like running into the side of the arena. It
yeah,
kind of
they
felt
put
like
all the
that.
traps.
There was one cool moment where one like used a giant fucking claw and grabbed the other one and just fucking annihilated it with like cannonballs.
Wow.
And he literally like threw it through the side of the arena. There was like hay bales to like show you like where the arena was, and there was like a bunch of people standing there. And when it fell over, it caused like a huge like bunch of crates to get demolished. I'm sure it was set up, but you kind of got the scale where it's like, oh, these things are way bigger than humans. Because everyone nearby with cameras, like someone had a like camera where they turned and showed like everyone like scattering. I'm like, these are huge machines. So it was kind of impressive because you know those guys put a lot of work into it, but it's definitely not what you were hoping to see with like amazing weapons. One of them had like a chainsaw that like didn't even move like fast enough to like actually cut through stuff, but just to be jagged and like remove bits and pieces off a top layer. But was very disappointed. No one died. I'm pretty sure America won. So at some point,
Woo,
I watched it
America.
twice because I realized I was so annoyed with it. I was on my phone and I wasn't paying attention. So I watched it the second time it replayed, and the same thing kind of happened. I was like, this is so fucking boring. So if any of you guys saw that, because we did share it on Facebook, and you disagree with me, please feel free to let me know why. But I doubt any of you will, to be honest. So that's like
I didn't watch it, so
about all I've watched. We started American Horror Story 2 days ago. The sixth season, I think. The one with Roanoke. Which is interesting. I hate the format. It's like a documentary within the show where some of the actors that have been in previous seasons are like talking to a camera telling their story. And then when they show you like the live reenactment, which they do, that's the actual show you're used to with other actors.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is there 2 layers to this? Like, do I need a filter for this? Like, it's so annoying. I wish they would not have like the, oh, these were the real people that experienced it layer and just had the show. Because it's actually like a really good season.
Yeah.
But that's kind of annoying. But yeah, that's all I've been doing.
That reminds me, I left them at my store, but one of my customers, if you want them, he gave me 2 tickets for Jigsaw Thursday night.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll totally go early. I got tickets for the Snowman, early preview tickets. Because I guess, like,
Snowman.
there's this promotional ticket giveaway company, and they just moved into the office next to
Oh,
ours.
cool.
So they leave them in all the
Damn.
locations of all the restaurants nearby our office. So we got tickets for the Snowman, which is a Michael Fassbender horror movie.
I've
And
heard
then
that
we
that's
couldn't go.
like, they're worried about that one.
What's
You'll have to let us know how that is, because I've heard they're kind of like worried about no one wanting to see it.
Yeah, I didn't even know it existed until I saw the pamphlet for like, you and a guest are cordially invited. Show up early or you can't get in.
Oh.
So we didn't go. We had something else we had to do.
Show
Oh,
early
it was
and get
D&D day.
fucked.
That's why.
Oh, okay.
We waited to D&D. So, but yeah, that's all I've been watching. Charlie, what have you been watching?
That's not reverse order. CJ's
CJ, what have you been watching?
Oh, now I have to go. Okay, whatever, Charlie. Just pick whenever you want to say something. Let me know.
He was reverse order.
I've been watching,
Was I?
rewatching Stranger Things.
It's a really,
just 'cause
really
the
good
new-
idea.
Yes, just because the new one starts it's like 6 days now. So I figured over the next 2 days I have off, I'll be able to finish it, be all ready to go because I'm super excited. Even though I got on the bandwagon a little late, I am definitely ready to watch and see what happens in the second season. That's pretty much it besides watching like the League of Legends tournament that's been going on.
Is that your cat in the background?
It is. She's back. She makes another appearance.
It sounds like a child this time.
Yeah, it
She
does
has
sound like
never
a child.
said a she hasn't meowed in like 16 hours, and then as soon as I start recording,
It's okay. The
goes
fans
crazy.
love the cats, and I'm pretty sure they thought you killed them. So
I love
maybe
that.
maybe she's just trying to tell us what she's been watching because I had the back door open pretty much all day. So
she's like, I've been watching CJ do terrible things.
I'm just I'm trying to picture CJ. I don't remember where the thought was going. I'm
so
sorry.
sorry.
It's gone. It's gone now.
It's gone.
My
Well,
brain
Charlie,
is fried.
what have you been watching? Maybe it'll come back to you.
I have been watching Fraggle Rock. Still.
Fraggle Rock still?
Fraggle Rock still.
Okay.
A lot more of it than I thought there was. And then I've just been playing a lot of South Park. Like every night when I get home, I play South Park, and then I fall asleep, which is rare. Like I never
Get that obsessed with the game.
usually play games before bed. Like I'll wait until I have like a long amount of time. But this game, I'm just like, whenever I have time, I play it.
That's awesome. That's why I wish everything was on Switch now, because I kind of feel like that, but then I realize that the time I have to play stuff, I'm never like at home or in front of a TV.
But then I'd have to learn how to drive and play Switch at the same time.
If anyone could do it, Charlie, it's you. So, right on. That's what we've been playing. That's what we've been watching. Robin's not here, so I'm sure she's been playing and watching a bunch of fun stuff.
Hallmark Channel.
Hallmark Channel's what she's watching. Meow.
Crafts.
So, and she's very good at arts and crafts. That is correct. But we're just gonna jump right into the big three. CJ, what do we got with Microsoft news this week?
A little slow. And that's just because I'm assuming they probably have a lot going on behind the scenes with the fact that the One X launches fairly soon.
3 weeks,
about a week and a half, I think. No, 2 weeks. Yeah.
Charlie,
no,
fact check.
It comes out on Friday the 7th.
Friday the 7th. Yeah.
So
Friday. No, the 7th.
2.5 weeks.
7th is a Tuesday.
Sorry, don't know days.
Okay.
2.5 weeks.
Yep.
So I think just with that coming out, they're kind of waiting to pull the trigger on some extra news. Maybe, I don't really know, but we have a couple things. One big article is that it is getting close to the expected release of the original Xbox games for the backwards compatibility, and
Those
so there's been
back
speculation. Yeah, there's been speculation on what games will be in the first wave, what won't be, what Microsoft has already said is going to be there. I think somebody released like a rumored picture, and let me see. I'm clicking it right now. The rumor has Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, Dead Rights, Red Faction 2, Fusion Frenzy,
Coder,
Ninja Gaiden Black.
Oh, I hate that fucking game.
That's Knights of the Old Republic for the layperson.
Wow, that's like the exact
Knights-
sentence you just
Knights of
pulled
the
from my
Old
brain.
Republic.
Thanks, Charlie.
Blood Rain 2, Psychonauts.
Psychonauts is excellent. I would love to be able to play that on an Xbox One X.
So now that is just rumored. None of those could be true. You don't really know because it's just like the picture is just a black screen with the front of the game
Box
case
art.
essentially
Right.
put on it.
They did talk specifically at E3 about what Crimson. What's that game called?
Crimson
Skies.
Sure.
Yeah, I know they talked about that one because that was like one of the big games that everyone was wanting. But a lot of people, from what I've read comments and everything, a lot of people want Morrowind. But I know Bethesda's kind of got their own thing going on, so I don't know if that's something they want to just remake and release in the future, or if that's something they're going to let go backwards compatible and they don't have to worry about it.
I think if they did
But
it, they'd
that's-
let another studio do it, kind of like how they let what was it, Halo Combat
Skyrim.
Anniversary get remade, and Bungie wasn't going to do it, and they're like, someone else can. I'm pretty sure it's 343. And then when Halo left Bungie, they're like, give it to 343. They did a really good job with it because Bethesda, there's no way they have the bandwidth to do that with all the different shit they're doing.
I don't know. They should totally just remake Elder Scrolls Oblivion or Morrowind.
Morrowind.
They should just
Morrowind.
drop everything they're doing, just do Morrowind, and then explain to everyone why there's no new Skyrim or Fallout or whatever people are complaining about.
It's kind of a Blizzard move right there, where it's like, oh, look, StarCraft redo, because everyone's been asking for it. It's like, is that what everyone's been asking for, Blizzard? Really?
And then eventually they'll come out with StarCraft 3 or whatever's going to happen there. But moving on in the world of Microsoft, one rumor that I was kind of excited about because I got to sort of play the first one, but Ni no Kunai 2 is possibly coming to the Xbox One. It's just a JRPG from Level 5.
It's
which is the studio.
like Final Fantasy had a baby with Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or Studio Ghibli made a Pokemon game,
Yeah,
Yeah, there
it
you go.
looks
That's
really
another
cool.
good
It
one.
plays really cool too. So
which is why it would appeal to CJ. Pokemon.
yeah, it's true.
Woohoo.
And like
Yeah.
Final Fantasy too.
I wonder if that'll be like a timed delayed thing, because I mean they already set a date and they
Yeah.
only talked about
It's
it being
supposed
out
to be
for
released
PlayStation.
on January 19th, so I kind of agree with Charlie for once. Gross. That if it does come
disgusted
out
with
on
yourself.
Xbox, if it does, it'll come out late. It's not, and then any DLC or anything that's going on is all going to be 4.5 years later, or whatever they want to fucking do. But I'm really excited for that because, like I said, I got to play the first one for a little bit, and then I ended up just having to take it back to GameStop because I got wrapped up in other things. So we'll see what happens there.
I'm hoping it comes out. Like I like the Ni no Kuni series. It's definitely something I get for my PlayStation. But if I could get achievement points for it, because like that's what I care about. I don't care about trophies because I don't have as much invested into it. I would prefer to play it on my Xbox. So,
And then I'm gonna skip one, and then I'm gonna go back to it because it's kind of a funny one. But another big one was some of the Xbox executives have kind of come out and said that they don't like platform exclusive DLC. Now, not that they don't like platform exclusive time DLC, which I wish that's what they would have said. I don't care if it's platform exclusive. I just hate the timed crap. Because the platform exclusive stuff's really never that bad. It's like you get an extra gun or you get something just like a better pack, like that kind of weird stuff. I just hate when it's DLC that everybody gets, but it's timed. But they came out and said that they don't like how now that Call of Duty, Destiny, Red Dead Redemption is all going to have exclusive content to PS4, whether it be content at launch that Xbox won't get or Microsoft won't get, or being timed, they just wish it would kind of all go away, which is a little redundant because it's funny the fact that now that they don't have the time exclusive, now they're coming out and saying something about it.
That's
he even said in this article, he's like, I know that sounds funny. It's like, yeah, bro, it really does. And for the record, this was Phil Spencer.
That's
so now that Robin's, of course, not here, she had a conflict. She couldn't be on this episode.
I think that's hilarious. It's like two record labels, and one of them gets all the popular artists. And it's like, I just wish that type of music wasn't popular anymore. Like, why do we even listen to it? I don't know. That's just hilarious to me.
It's just a passing trend.
I get both sides. I get both sides of it. I think it would be best for gamers in general if they just got rid of them. So that might be the step he's trying to go towards. But you can't really point fingers or take blame because you technically started it. Like,
I mean, it would be best. It'd be best for gamers if they made all games for all systems and they were super cheap. Like, I mean,
like the one guy that comes to GameStop, like, you know what they should do? They should make a system that just plays all those different games. Like, oh my god, no one's ever thought of that.
Wow, you're gonna be the next millionaire.
They should put Coke in Pepsi cans too. You fucking jagoff. I will say that for this one, I just want to do a devil's advocate to what you said too, CJ. Phil Spencer was the guy who said this, and he's always been against this. So he's like, I understand the irony of me saying that, being who I am in the position I am. However, my opinions never changed on it. It's just that now I'm in charge of it, and Xbox has had this history with it, and now we don't have it. I get the irony of it. So it's like, he was very acknowledging of like the fact that like the guy in charge of Xbox saying this sounds like stupid shit, but I've been saying this for a really long fucking time. So with a grain of salt, I don't want Robin to get mad at us because I talk bad about her bae, but there it is.
I mean, I can see it from the standpoint of like, if you were in the executive office with them and before Xbox One and PS4 happened and Microsoft had all these companies in front of them and they were trying to figure out like which timed exclusives they're going to get and whatever goes on there. And they said, let's not do timed exclusive this year. Let's just let everyone have it at the same time. Let everyone be happy. And then like Sony swoops in and plays the bad guy and goes, no, we're going to do it. Like I can kind of see something like that going on.
Paint me more of this word picture. I want to see you
like word pictures turn into the D&D campaign because I was going crazy.
He did a really good job.
I just want you to like reenact this with like popsicle stick figures.
Well, see, no one can see what I was doing, but as I said, swoop in. I mean, I went all in with my hand. I swooped into my microphone and back up. So you might.
Why we need to get
if you listen
like
really
a roller
close.
Coaster.
Yeah, if you listen really close, you might hear the swoop.
I'll put a swooshing sound effect in right there.
Can you do that?
I can actually, but I probably won't. So whoosh, there it was.
Rounding out my lovely, lovely Xbox news is probably one of the funniest articles I have read in a long time. And, there was a game back in 2014 that everyone was super excited about because it's probably one of the main Xbox games, and that was the Halo Master Chief Collection. So we're going on pretty close to 3 years after it's been released now, and they're just now saying that they pledge to update the Halo Master Chief Collection, and then they put next year. So it's going to go on for another year of all the issues that it's been having. Sometimes you still can't even start a game. The Forge mode glitches out. All sorts of crazy stuff. And I feel like the only reason why they're doing this is because they're already forced to have to go back and make it an Xbox One X enhanced. So since they're doing that, I think they're just going to fix a couple things. I think if the Xbox One X doesn't even exist, I don't think they fix this game, in my opinion.
What's really funny to me about this is it doesn't even matter at this point because you can just use the games that it's like combining into one collection as backwards compatible. They're back compats, and you don't even need to fucking worry about it anymore, which is hilarious because they're also like horrible when you try and play them like through Halo Master Chief. Like all I wanted to do was play Halo 1 and Halo 4 SWAT mode because I like SWAT and I liked it in Halo 4 the best, and I couldn't do any of those things for like the first year. So finally I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Like I just gave up on it. So now they're like, we pledge to take care of this 3 years after the game's release. It's like, I can play both of those games right now because I still have them. I still have my back compats. just waiting to go. So
Yeah.
it's just too little.
And
too
the
late.
other thing, like, it sucks to say, and it's kind of it's crawling its way back, but Halo as an esport is pretty close to wiped off the face of the planet. There's so many players leaving to go and play. H1Z1 is professional, is going to play PUBG, going to play Call of Duty, whatever. Gears of War now, even there I saw a couple that left to go play that.
What the heck?
yeah,
They're like,
no,
we
like,
just want to get on. We want to get on the
anything to
next
try to make
drowning
some money.
ship.
Right.
Yeah. And now,
Sinking ship.
I hear the
since
rats on that
Halo
ship are leaving too.
Halo 5 came out a year after Master Chief, right? 2015. So now that Halo 5's almost been out for 2 years, they're finally going to give local servers, so LAN mode in Halo 5 for whatever extra events that are going on. But I'd have to imagine that there's another Halo coming out soon. So if they just go to Halo 6 and everyone starts playing professionally on Halo 6, whoever's left, if the LAN mode doesn't carry over, then there's no point for them to even say that this mode is coming out. Like, it just doesn't make any... Like, they're just making so many weird moves, and I don't understand it.
I think they're just trying to do what they can to make their products that are currently out more viable until they get to the next wave. Because they're like, well, we have this piece of hardware coming out, and we're already way behind, and we can't just keep telling people, like, oh, we're fixing all the issues that we already have. They have to make it sound like the ones that they have, the products that they have out right now, are worth playing until they can get their new shit out, whether or not it is.
And that's one thing that kind of sucks about the Xbox One X going out is a lot of these companies or a lot of these games are using it as an excuse to be like, well, now that we have this powerful console, we can now put LAN servers on Halo 5. And to me, that just sounds ridiculous because, I mean, there were LAN servers on Halo 3 back on the 360. Like, you can't tell me that the Xbox One didn't have enough in it to make a LAN server. Like, it just doesn't make much sense. It's
functionality they didn't include. Like back in the day when the Xbox One first came out, it's like on my Xbox 360, if I'm on the same like network as my computer, I can just stream stuff from my computer to it by going to like movies and then telling it go to this computer. And then all of a sudden, like, I get an Xbox One, and Rob and I are trying to watch fucking Game of Thrones because the Xbox One didn't launch with the HBO Go app. So I just had the thing on my computer and just trying to stream it didn't fucking work. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. This thing can't do what an Xbox 360 could. And I think that's just exactly what drove everyone away from the Xbox One in the first place.
They're just taking, like, they excluded features. Now they're putting them back in. Like, look at this cool new shit we can do.
Look at this. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola
and they're
Classic.
using, like, because we have this powerful console. Like, I get that it's going to be the most powerful console ever. Like, I'm just kind of tired of hearing it at this point. But
right. Yeah, just show me what I want. Show me what I'm going to be playing on it. Like,
yeah.
That's all I want to see.
So that is all my Xbox news for the week. I did try to watch this week on Xbox, but there's really nothing going on. If you want to go over to the YouTube, it's just Major Nelson's YouTube and watch it. There was a pretty cool video on a lot of the new effects and new stuff going on in Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
If you are a big Sea of
That
Thieves
great
fan, go
game that
check
no
it
one's
out.
going to play.
I've played it in every alpha wave except for this latest one. So it'll be okay. I think everyone will play it for 2 weeks.
I think it'll be cool. I just don't think anyone's going to play it.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be enough people playing it to make it like...
I think when launch week hits, everyone's going to be like, oh my god, this is so much fun. And then like in 2 weeks, you're going to hear people like, I can never find anyone in that game, and there's nothing to do.
It's dead.
I think it's Xbox's No
It'll be
Man's
on
Sky.
Game Pass.
Like, that's what I'm predicting, is it's Xbox's No Man's Sky. It'll have a little bit more to it, because they didn't show
That was a pretty good prediction.
giant pretty dinosaurs like No Man's Sky did, but I do think that like a lot of this is based off of you playing with a crew and the interactions that you have with like other players in the universe. And I think they're basically creating an open world sandbox with like not a lot in it, and you can't collect gear. There's no like gear sets that you can like go towards. So I don't know.
Well, if we learned anything from No Man's Sky, expect some really amazing updates in about 2 years.
Right.
Yep.
That might
That'll make
even
that
fulfill
game playable.
the original promise. So
Yep.
right on. So that's it for Microsoft news. You said, CJ?
That is it. So now we can go to the Sony news.
Charlie, what do you
With
got for us?
Charlie.
Oh, hey, that's me.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Okay, so the first thing I have for you guys for Sony news is about another PSVR limited time price drop. This is kind of weird. This is more like the Target news. Target is selling PSVR for $300, but there's a Cartwheel coupon. If you guys don't know, Cartwheel is this discount app for Target. I know that
Robin.
I know that Adam
I
knows all
thought
about it.
personally it was you show up to Target, you get your VR, you do a cartwheel into the checkout stand, and you get a discount.
That's what I was doing for a long time. Like, I've heard about this cartwheel thing, and then I'd do one, and it was still the same price, and then they'd throw me out. It was really weird. So.
Damn it.
You have to do it in front of the cafe. Only the ones that have Pizza Hut in it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
So anyways, there's a cartwheel coupon that will cut it by 25%. So you can get out the door with your PSVR headset. This is not the bundle that comes with the camera. This is just the headset for $225 pre-tax.
Pre-tax.
So it's pretty dang cheap. We talked about this a lot last week, how they're making VR more affordable. Obviously, this isn't a Sony price cut, but if you're interested in VR, it's just another way you can get one for super cheap.
It's not even a Black Friday deal, so that's pretty fucking sweet.
No, it's not even Black Friday yet.
It expires on. Oh, we retract our previous statement. It expired today, boys and girls.
Oh man, run!
Motherfucker. So that happened, guys.
Whoops.
Yeah, sorry if you missed it, which you obviously did.
Adam, just fill this last 30 seconds with bleep, 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 bleep,
Right
bleep,
on.
bleep, bleep. Just
I'll just delete the spot where we
hum some music,
we're experiencing technical difficulties.
all of a sudden, Charlie's mic cut out.
I'm gonna leave it in. This is just good stuff, guys.
All right, nailed it.
So the second article in Sony news, this is Naughty Dog news. There is an article on Kotaku, my favorite gaming website.
Right.
It says a former Naughty Dog employee claimed he was fired after filing a sexual harassment complaint, which is not good considering this recent climate of sexual harassment coming to the forefront.
Right.
Let me just see.
I heard a lot about this on all the podcasts that I listen to. I have been listening to a lot more Kind of Funny lately because they do multiple shows daily, and they have a lot of friends within Naughty Dog on this. And they're saying, I understand both sides of the argument. It's like, everyone understands both sides of the argument because either this guy's lying and Naughty Dog fired him, or he's not lying and they fired him because he actually had a legitimate complaint. It's, I think what it comes down to is that they actually released a statement, Naughty Dog did, which they didn't have to. They could have just said, we'll settle this in court, regarding the entire situation, which is great to get out in front of it because a lot of people actually heard about this because they released their statement rather than letting them hear about it through this guy hitting the different media topics, which I thought was smart of them because when I heard about it, I heard it in the context that Naughty Dog wanted me to hear it, so they got to frame their argument while I was understanding what the fuck was going on. It's going to be, like you said, because of the current political climate when it comes to the sexual harassment claims and people just coming out this is fucking everywhere. It'll be really interesting.
It's hard, too, because, and I'm not saying this is the case with this person, but it's hard because I just feel like, just like everything in life, when real shit happens, people are there to jump on. So it's how do we validate all of these issues? Because I'm sure there will be, even when people, high-profile people are accused of things, people just seem to come out of the woodwork. And some of their things are very believable, and sometimes it's hard to believe, and sometimes you find out later that those didn't really happen.
There's a lot of people out there who will just jump into a situation to either make it worse or just want attention.
Yeah.
And they will just, outright admit to anyone they trust not to repeat it, I just want to get on TV, I want to be famous, I want to get money. And they have no problem saying whatever horrible story comes to their head. And like you said, for the people who are actually saying stuff that happened, it devalues what they're trying to bring to light.
It's hard because it's in one sense, this is the perfect time for this because it's so topical and things are just happening and people are paying attention to these things. But in the other sense, it's it could be discounted or blown past just because it's happening everywhere and everyone's talking about it. And some people that just don't want to believe these things have happened will just gloss it over and be like another person.
Or some people know this is going on and they don't care. They're like, oh, too bad, just deal with it. And those people exist too, in droves.
According to the parent company, Naughty Dog and Sony came out and said that they didn't have any evidence of these allegations and that they, take their any sexual harassment claim very seriously. So we'll see if it leads anywhere. I hope it's not true, but I will say too that HR is it's a weird department because it is a company, or it's a department in a company that's supposed to care about employees. However, it does work for that company.
Right.
So you have to kind of take that as it is, because they're there to help you, but at the same time, they work for a company and they're there to protect the company also.
Yeah, the company I work at, and I don't know if I've said it before, and I'm not going to say it now just because, but they have a separate entity as their HR department.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
It literally exists outside of the company, but they were created by our company to work for our company, but their priority is to anyone within the company who has a claim, and they do independent investigations. And our old HR department still exists. And like you're saying, it's like they have a conflict of interest where it's like, what do you do if the complaint is filed against the person who runs that department? Mm-hmm. It's like everyone has their side of the story, and most of them are just as valid, and the truth almost always lies in the middle. And where do they come down? When you have a separate entity like that, it gives people this feeling of like, at least someone's going to give me a chance to be heard. And I think when you have situations like this, and people that have legitimate claims that they feel have gone ignored, that's when they hit the media. It's like, hey, if you don't want to fucking listen to me, it's like, a lot of times people are afraid of what they can prove in a court of law because you almost always have to sign a contract when you work for someone, and that contract almost always states that you can't take something to court. It's going to be an arbitrator, and the company gets to pick.
Mediated.
But the thing is like, you might not be able to use something that's absolute proof this existed in a mediation because it has the same types of rules as a court of law of what's allowed per state law. The court of public opinion doesn't have those laws.
Right.
So it's like, I have this recording that I'm not allowed to list, that I'm not allowed to have, that shows I'm 100% correct. And then when you release shit like that, after you tell people like, hey, this happened, and if no one believes you, then you bring forth that stuff through the court of public opinion, so it just hits fucking YouTube, and media outlets pick it up. Those persons wind up having to deal with the consequences without having to go through some form of mediation. So when stuff like this hits, I'm always just like, okay, this is the first wave, then comes the earthquake, then comes the aftershock. So you just kind of sit and wait. So I'm in a sit and wait situation right now with Naughty Dog to see what goes on with it.
I mean, hopefully, I'm sure they'll take it seriously. I would hope. I don't know. It's just hard. It's hard from like a public standpoint to decide or try and decide what you think happened.
Yeah, and too many people nowadays like, I formed an opinion, I'm going to share it with everyone as if it's a fact, and then yell at anyone who doesn't agree with me. So sit and wait is not a bad thing, ladies and gentlemen. More people should try that.
The next bit of Sony news I have is about the new PS4 Pro bundle they announced. They revealed the new PS4 Pro, which is Star Wars themed.
Yay! It also looks like garbage.
Yeah, it's got the Star Wars symbols on it. I'm not super into Star Wars, but I can tell this is a Rebel symbol. Don't know what this red one is. And
Empire.
Then
yeah, it's like one side of it is the Empire, one side. You could do this with 2 decals that you bought at like Walmart. Yeah. And I don't know what the fuck they're doing with their special editions nowadays, but man, they are being lazy as balls.
It's definitely not.
Maybe they just went to Walmart and put the decals on themselves.
So they're also just doing a regular Star Wars Battlefront 2 bundle, which is kind of cool with the slim model system. I think they're doing the same thing with Call of Duty, and then this is actually a themed PS4 Pro that comes with the deluxe edition of Star Wars Battlefront. So it's kind of cool if you're thinking about getting a Pro anyways and you want to have a eye-looking system. That way you can get your Pro and get your game. That makes more, because it's like with the Destiny one, it was $450. This one's the same, and it comes with the $80 version of the game. So if you're gonna buy a PS4 Pro and the game anyways,
if I had the funds, I would totally do that, because the one I currently have is the Star Wars Battlefront 1 edition, which was also lame as balls because it has Vader on the front and it looks really cheesy. I do like the controller because it's just
really nice.
Controller's just plain black controller, but it has red and white buttons, so it's really simplified, but like the little touchpad in the middle.
It says Star Wars all
it says Star Wars all over, but it's like engraved, so if you like just look at it, you can't see it, but like if you look closer, you're like, oh shit, that says Star Wars, and that's like the fancy lettering from the logo. So
yeah.
This last bit of news is something that fell into our Nintendo and our Sony news.
Yeah, we were fighting over this one.
Yeah. So Sony Music Entertainment has decided to start making games for Switch and PC, as well as not just Sony consoles. So they started to make games. I'm still not sure how or why Sony Music is starting to make games. Or Unties, is that the game or the company?
I'm not exactly sure.
A new game.
I think Unties is the name that they're going under, and the game is
Tiny something, yeah.
And the game is Tiny Metal, yeah.
So Unties is a game publishing label under Sony Music Entertainment.
This really sounds like there was a lot of
This is
people
deep.
who had the capability of making video games who are getting shut out, for lack of a better term, of Sony Interactive Entertainment America, or whichever division they were trying to get into, where it's like, hey, like, we have this idea, we have this game, and they're probably just like, oh, we'll get around to it, and they're like, fuck it, we're going to do it ourselves, and then like, well, we're not going to release it, and they're like, we'll release it under Sony Music, and since it's Sony Music, we can release it with whoever the fuck we want. Suck it, Sony.
It's so weird. It's Sony Music announced Unties. Their first game is by another it's Tiny Metal from developer Area 35. So it's like I can't even keep it straight. I need a diagram.
I know. I don't even know if this is just Sony being like, well, we want to release stuff on Nintendo's console because they're doing really well right now. It's
we don't want to put Sony.
It's
on
a very bizarre turn of events. So
yeah, I mean, it's just they're working on indie games, and it looks pretty cool. It's like a military-themed turn-based strategy on the Unreal Engine, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, I don't blame them. If they have some like mobile-style games, they're not going to be doing handheld gaming anymore, so why not make some Switch games?
Yeah, I totally agree.
If they're going to produce them anyways, but it's just kind of weird.
Nintendo's not going away anytime soon now because of the Switch, so if they can try and piggyback on their success, why the fuck not?
It's totally going to be one of those things where like Tiny Metal for some reason blows up and like becomes like one of the greatest games of the year, and Sony's going to be like, oh, we totally like, they're going to like take the mask off the name and be like, it's Sony spelled backwards. We got you.
So the other games that they're working on, a 3D action game called Last Standard, and that's coming to PC and other unannounced consoles. A 3D robot action game called Merkava Avalanche, for PC and other possible platforms. And then they're actually doing for PS4 Demo, which I think is that game I just played on Switch, that music rhythm game, and that's going to be a VR title. So,
all right, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It makes sense that they're working on a rhythm game. The rest of them are still perplexing to me, but this entire thing is, so.
Yeah, I mean, they've said a lot that they're going to try and work on the mobile platform, and they're not going to do handhelds anymore, so maybe this is just the next chapter.
Right. We'll see how it turns out. It's very, very interesting to say the least, though.
This thing has layers.
It does. It's like an onion. The more you peel it, the more it stinks.
But that is my Sony news. What is happening in the wonderful world of Nintendo?
Funny you should ask that, Charlie. A metric fuck ton is happening in the world of Nintendo. We had
Take a deep breath. 9
separate things. Some of them are overlap, so, I mean, we're going to get through it. The first one that I did want to bring up is an alternative to the SNES Classic, if you guys have been searching for one. There is something on the market right now called the Super NT. Now, this is a little bit pricier. This does retail for $190. And if you're like, why the fuck would I pay that much money? Well, good listener, it's because every single Super Nintendo title ever released will be housed on this emulator. And the controller is almost identical to the Super Nintendo controller, and it still looks like a Super Nintendo as well. A little bit more pricey, however, you will be able to play basically everything ever released for the Super Nintendo.
It's probably the same price they're selling those for SNESs on eBay for. So.
It really is, and those only have like 23 games. So
30, right? 30?
I don't know. 30 was the NES.
Oh, okay.
They're way less for the Super Nintendo.
Wow, that's crazy. That sucks.
That is a bunch of stuff, so if you guys want to check that out, feel free to do it. I thought that was quite interesting. We had some Bethesda news in the world of Nintendo. Doom has been given a release date of November 10th. This is another thing that actually just released on Friday. One of the developers for Doom was saying that it was kind of a nightmare to port it over to the Switch, but they're really proud of it because it looks so good and it runs so good, and it's a different way of basically developing a game and porting it over. And they wished that gamers didn't always concentrate on graphic fidelity and things that don't really matter. And when you look at stuff like independent titles like Oxenfree or Gone Home or Firewatch, it's very clear that the experience is what matters. And since Doom is such a good game and it's being moved to the Switch, it's like, you guys should really appreciate the fact that this is being put on Switch by people who usually are used to stretching the limits of what a console can do. And now they're going to the confines of a console and being like, we can still put this on here. And it's impressive either way. So it's something that I'm super excited about. I already have Doom on my Xbox One, so I won't be buying it for my Switch. But if I do start playing it and realize that I want to play it everywhere, now I fucking can, which is super cool.
I think I understand that like people shouldn't be so concerned about the graphics. I think that's one thing that could not be consistent and that people would probably be okay. But at the same time, though, like as a Nintendo user in the past. I'm so used to getting a dumbed down version of their game, like
Right,
on
like
3DS.
The new FIFA.
Like the Lego games on 3DS are garbage. The Wii can't house the same size of worlds as they can in Minecraft, for example, on Xbox One and PS4. So I mean, I think that people are just tired of getting a lesser version of the game on a Nintendo console, and I think as much as it sucks, Nintendo just has to find a way to make the exact same game or as close as possible.
Right. And that's the thing, is that if you put the onus on the developer, then the developer wants to do it, and that's why they've struggled so much with third-party support in the past. They're like, we want to make the game we want to make. We don't want to confine it based off of the fact that your console restricts us.
Yeah.
But now that the console is doing so goddamn well, and they're like, oh, this is another user base that we can plug into, and Nintendo's out there saying, like, we want mature rated games.
Yeah.
It's something where it's like they're willing to do it, and everyone should actually appreciate that and not pick up a Switch and immediately be like, oh, this doesn't look as good, because it's like, you know what, then they won't do this if you keep hearing that shit. And it's not just that. They released 2 more release dates. That good old Lenore, or L.A. Noire for the layperson, will be releasing on November 14th, so 4 days after Doom. And then 3 days later, you will be getting your version of Skyrim for the Nintendo Switch on November 17th, the same day as Battlefront 2 releases.
I will say, LA Noire, apparently it must be something with Take-Two or 2K. NBA, WWE, and LA Noire all require a 32 gigabyte, recommended 32 gigabyte micro SD card.
Yeah, so they do recommend at this point that you go out and buy as big of an SD card for your Nintendo Switch as you can possibly get. And it's funny because, like, as much as I want to criticize them for this, storage has been a problem. Storage has been the biggest problem this generation for all of these gaming consoles. For every single
everything.
So it's like, yes, it happened in Nintendo, and it does suck, but it's a lot easier to put in an SD card than it is to swap out a hard drive on a PS4 or even get an external hard drive for your Xbox One. And they had some ridiculous fucking deals this past week. IGN always posts, like, deals for gamers and shit. Mm-hmm. They had, like, a 250 gigabyte SD card for, like, less than $50.
Yeah, we have...
that's a fuck ton.
I think there are some sales going right now for, like, a 128 is in the $50 range. A 64 gig is, like, $35. So, I mean, it's not anywhere near buying an external hard drive for your Xbox One or PS4. It's just something people should get ahead of.
Right.
And it requires an internet connection, which I don't know 2K does, and I don't know if that means you constantly have to be connected to the internet, like you can't play really on the go then, or if it's just like requires an initial setup that I don't know.
Yeah, we'll bring you.
I would imagine it's just the initial setup.
I would imagine that
so.
too, but it's Nintendo, so you never fucking know.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you guys posted on that, but still, Lenore, Doom, those are very good single player experiences. So Skyrim also obviously is as well.
I just more and more it's like LA Noire. I can't wait to play that, but I'll probably pick it up for Xbox One or PS4 because it's cheaper, and now I have to buy an SD card.
Plus the graphic fidelity, and it's definitely that game that you might want to actually see someone's expressions on.
Yeah.
So.
And the cases are really long. Like, I really doubt I'm going to be playing that quickly on my Switch. Like, once I learn how to drive and play Switch.
Right. That's a goal in life, I think, for all of us at this point. Next piece of news is about Nintendo cracking down on its early releases, or I should say its review copies, basically, that have been given out. There was a leak for Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. It leaked online several weeks ahead of its official release date. Multiple sources who work for Nintendo have pointed to content that was produced for this before it's even been launched. And because of that, they're reportedly clamping down on which outlets and video influencers will receive advanced copies for reviews and video content. This sounds a lot like what happened with Bethesda, but for a completely different reason. Bethesda decided they weren't going to give out any advanced copies for review because of how much a review score can affect the purchase of a game. And they're like, you know what, if you're really that worried about it, just wait for the review to come out. And if you're a person who waits for reviews, you will. You'll just wait until Friday instead of Tuesday. But for the people who are casual gamers, to walk into a store and they're like, oh, what did this game get? Oh, it got a 6 on IGN. Oh, it got a don't play it on Kotaku, or what the fuck ever else. And then people cancel their reserves. That's what Bethesda feels like. They would not want to send out advanced review copies for. Nintendo sending these out and having all this shit, especially with how shady they are when it comes to online content being produced from their games. It's just another real bad black eye for advanced review copies. So if you're one of those people that wants to know if a game is good before you buy it, you're probably going to have to stop buying on launch day. Like, plain and simple. Like, the way these things keep happening is really lending itself to the fact that advanced copies are probably going to become a thing of the past unless it's like a super secure person that's a streamer that's 100% approved by whoever's releasing the game, or a site that they wholesale trust until they fuck up too. Because at some point they're going to hire new people, because even though it's a website or a magazine or whatever the case may be, as soon as one person attached to that does something wrong, then like all these different places are going to start clamping down and saying like, you know what, fucking never mind, like we're just going to release our game.
Was the main reason because just the, like, do they list in the article what the reasoning was behind it, as far as, because I don't remember that game getting bad reviews or anything.
Oh no, it's because they're showing off content before the embargo was lifted. And like, embargo is something that it's normally taken extremely seriously.
Yeah.
And people are treating it like it's fucking garbage because they don't care. They know that they can make a name for themselves, so that they can attract more content.
Oh, I see.
And they're using the product as like, hey, this isn't out yet, come check it out.
That's
and
crazy.
So they're like, you know what,
Not
fuck
good.
this. Like, we're going to clamp down on everyone who's getting these things. So even though it's like one bad apple spoiling it for the entire batch, it's like everyone's getting fucked on that.
That's what happens in life.
It is.
It's the
one
only
asshole.
choice they have at this point.
That's the one asshole rule. So my
They
next...
should just make people buy their games. Like, honestly, they should just quit sending out review copies. But I guess if you... Like, I feel like if you want people to review your game, then send out a review copy if it's not a well-known title. But otherwise, like, Super Mario Odyssey, if they didn't give a free copy to IGN, IGN would still post an article about it because that's their user base.
That's what everyone's looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if they had to wait till the game was out, then some people would get it themselves before they read an article or before they looked for content. People are still going to look for what they want, regardless of whether or not the game is out. So they're like, well, since we don't want this to happen before the game is out, we're going to take control of it. And it's like, or you could, or the other humans in the world could just not be fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't seem like they're capable of that right now.
I agree with that.
This is one that's a little two-piece article that released. One part released, and then the next part released. There was an interview that came out regarding Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon. Game Freak director, of course, Robin's not here again. Shigeru Ohimura, that sounds right. I think I nailed that. Was talking about the evolution of Pokemon on the 3DS when they made X and Y. They were trying to find ways that they could make the game better using the power of the system, because up until then, Pokemon's just been on Game Boy. And now they're at the point where they're stretching the limits of what the 3DS can do. He did state that with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, we've tried to eke out that more. That's a typo. Eke out more and really, really push the system to its absolute limits. And we're now feeling that perhaps this is the maximum of what we can get out of it. So we're really treating Ultra Sun and Moon as the culmination of our work with the 3DS system. Then they did later confirm that, at least for the time being, this is probably going to be the last Pokemon game that you're going to see released on 3DS.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's always been a handheld title. And it's one of those things where it's like, me and CJ have given our fan theories for what we want out of a Pokemon Switch game, and they're developing...
Slowly becoming true.
Like, they're investing all the resources into what's legitimately one of the biggest franchises on the planet to put it on the Switch now.
And I get it. Like, it makes sense, and I want a Pokemon game for my Switch, but at the same time, why are they still selling DSs?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, that console is going to be damn near dead if Pokemon is not on that console. And I don't, like, how can they justify making new 2DS and new 2DS XL bundles, like, this month, next month, as selling these over the holiday when they know they're not going to make another Pokemon title for it, and thus... What are you looking at? Maybe 20 major games next year?
I feel like when they have such a stranglehold on the handheld market, because like where the environment is right now, where the atmosphere, the current climate in the handheld market is, everyone has their phone. That's what everyone uses to play games. Microsoft and Sony have no intention of entering the handheld market anytime in the near future, and Sony's even released like, hey, we're not fucking doing this. It's a waste of our time. But Nintendo's own the handheld market. And I think for them, at least, with the sales that they see with the DS, it's enough where they want to keep the business going. And I think the reason that is because parents view this as a cheaper option for one of their kids. Like, their kids want a Switch. We don't have enough money for a Switch. Or we can't find a Switch, which isn't the case now because they've ramped up production.
A Switch for every kid or something like that.
Yeah, but now they're looking at, like, Switches for adults. We want mature content on the Switch. The stuff we're going to release for the 3DS or the 2DS or whatever the fuck is the main console now, it's like, will be for kids. And they're still going to have people that develop for them. There's still going to be shovelware that gets pumped out on those things.
Honestly, not a lot anymore.
I feel like with the way the indie developers are doing stuff on Switch, once they can get third-party developers, they will encourage indie developers to release stuff that's like, because most of the shit I download on my Switch that's like $9 to $12 is stuff that can totally run on the 3DS.
Yeah.
And it's like, then just put the shovelware on the 3DS. Also, don't make it where it has to be one or the other. Just make it like, if it's capable of running on the 3DS, have it be on the 3DS, because it maps out almost exactly the same as a Nintendo Switch. And then have that be for the kids, and then have your Switch console actually be for adults, and try and get developers to actually put stuff on there. And when you have stuff like Battlefront and Call of Duty and Battlefield coming out, and you're like sitting there, hey, I can't have this on my console because I didn't make it powerful enough. It's like, I think their entire marketing strategy is, okay, what are adults playing right now that they will play on our system? And the biggest thing that adults fucking love, and they realized that when Niantic released Pokemon Go and the entire world played it. Like, all the adults flocked outside. It was like the best time the world has had. The most peaceful time the world has had in like fucking 2 decades was when Pokemon Go first came out. And they're like, if that many people like Pokemon and Nintendo's selling, or Switches are selling so well, we have to put a Switch game on there, and we have to dedicate everything we fucking have to it.
I just think I completely understand that they're not selling games on DS, but I just quit selling hardware. Don't sell people hardware. There won't be games for next year. Like, honestly, I get it. Fire Emblem just released for Switch and 3DS. Like, most people bought it on Switch. Very few people bought it on 3DS. It was insane. And you wouldn't think that Switch is only a year old, not even a year old. And I would say it was like a 4-to-1 ratio, if not way more.
Every single game that comes out that I see that's only for 3DS, I'm like, I wish it was on Switch.
Yeah.
And I feel like most people are like that, but for the people that
don't have it yet.
Don't have a Switch, they're like, thank God it's not on Switch. So I think where they're at right now is like, as long as people keep buying DSs, they're just going to keep selling them.
It's just not cool.
And it's like,
and keep releasing bundles. That's the thing that gets me. They keep coming out with a new looking DS all the time.
I know. I'm like, what are you guys doing? You're just gonna sell all these people hardware, and then 2 seconds later you'll be like, and we're done with it.
And I think their focus here should be like, if Switches keep selling and DSs keep selling, and we release our new Pokemon game whenever it comes out on the Switch, obviously it's going to do incredibly well. Basically, everyone that owns a Switch is going to buy that.
Yeah.
Then they need to look at like, okay, now after it's been like a year, because at this point, like, they've oversaturated me on Pokemon. I don't give a flying fuck about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I play the shit out of Sun and Moon, but I'm not buying it. But if it comes back to the 3DS and it's just a different version of whatever comes out on the Switch, then maybe people want to go back to it. That's if the 2DS survives. And maybe they're thinking like, hey, maybe everyone that owns a DS that doesn't own a Switch will come over and buy a Switch. And if that's the case, maybe they can let go of that handheld market for the time being.
I'd be interested if all my crappy DS games worked at all on the Switch.
Right. What's frustrating, though, is that the writing's been on the wall for this for a long time. They said that the next Fantasy Life game, which was successful and amazing...
Isn't it going to be mobile?
It's going to be on the mobile. It's going to be on your phone. It's not going to be on the DS. And they decided that way before the Switch was out.
And the phone can do everything the DS can, because the DS is, like, not strong hardware by any means.
If my phone can play Hearthstone, which isn't that complicated, but if my phone can play games that are graphically intense, like Infinity Blade or whatever the case may be.
Nothing is graphically intense on the DS.
No, it's all like 32-bit at best. 16-bit, 32-bit. Some 64-bit stuff has been transferred over from like the Nintendo library, but not a lot of people besides them have done that.
Yeah.
So it's like, my phone can do a whole lot that a fucking 3DS can't. And it's like, I get that they might be hemorrhaging money if they keep trying to like develop for that system. First party especially. Mm-hmm. So I understand it, but like you're saying, I get the perspective of like, then stop selling stuff.
I just think that they're going to have all these holiday bundles, and then New Year's going to roll around, and they're going to be like, it's dead. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you just sold all these people new systems. Not 6 months ago, you released a different version of your console, and it's dead now.
I would just appreciate it if they just shifted the production away slowly and moved it all towards the Switch and just made more bundles for the Switch. But the Switch doesn't have a whole lot you can bundle with it right now. Just... basically, Zelda, Mario Kart, and when Odyssey comes out, Odyssey's actually getting a bundle.
Have those be your holiday DSs with it soon.
That's funny. Like, take the game anywhere, even though you can't play it. So, that's everything I have for Nintendo news. We don't have a ton of additional news. I didn't say it at the beginning of the show, but our main topic this week, we're going to be going over the single-player gaming experience and whether or not it's dying. People have been talking about this for like the last 7 years, but there were some recent big developments that happened in the gaming industry this past week that we're going to touch on, and that'll be our main topic. But for the time being, The additional news, Smush Games, who I'm sure you've all heard of, the director of Smush Games came out and said PewDiePie is, quote, an untouchable YouTube personality, in reference to the racial slurs and the backlash that keeps happening to anyone that basically comes out and speaks against him when he says something terrible on his stream. He touched upon PewDiePie and the backlash that YouTube's top creator has faced over the past few months, and basically said that anyone that comes out against him will face significant backlash that could damage their studio and possibly derail their game. And it's weird that someone who just plays games online for a living has that sort of power. And it's funny with Nintendo coming out and saying, like, hey, we're not giving games anymore early to people who break embargo. How long is it until people start saying, like, hey, we're not giving games early to people that do stuff like this, like PewDiePie? And if a company can actually say that without having backlash, like, okay, well, then everyone that watches PewDiePie is not going to buy your game. And it's kind of frightening to think that someone out there has that power, because I don't know who the fuck this guy is, and I honestly don't care that he exists. And I feel like that might be because I'm over the 30 threshold.
Yeah.
And I don't give a shit about YouTubers, and I have some that I watch that are mainly like streaming on Twitch. But as soon as they act like an asshole, I literally stop watching them or stop subscribing to their channel. So it's like,
and that's like a pretty big group of them.
Yeah.
That act like assholes.
It's like it must be a cultural thing that's different from me and then the younger audience, where it's like they are a fan of that personality, not so much the video game. I want to see people play the video game I want to see.
Yeah.
Like, I used to watch Angry Pug a lot because he was playing Friday the 13th, and he went back to Dead by Daylight, and I hate that game. It's very similar, but I just don't like it. I don't like the way it plays out. So when he plays...
Way too clunky.
Yeah, when he plays, I don't watch. And, like, Robin was like, you haven't watched Pug in a long time. I was like, he's not playing something I want to watch. And I think that mindset does not exist for younger viewers. It's like, no matter what those fucking people are playing, they're going to watch them. And it's like, so then you're not really a fan of video games. You're a fan of people playing video games that say the things you want to hear.
But that probably dictates what they buy and play.
And that's what's frightening about it. Is like, okay, like, these are the people that walk into GameStops that used to say stuff like, I only play 2 games a year, bro, Call of Duty and Madden. And now that they're young, they're like, I only play what PewDiePie tells me to play, because that's what everyone talks about.
You know what's... Why is this guy, like, semi-Italian?
That's the only accent I can really do. So,
so confused there.
But my thing is, like, that just... And I don't even care about what PewDiePie says, but at the same time, it's like, that just makes it more obvious that he is a role model in some way.
Right.
People obviously see what he does, and they're like, I want to do that. I want to be a YouTuber. I want to play those games and be just that good. And that's scary to me because he's known now for, like, these new racist slur this week.
Right. It's like, guess what I learned to say while watching PewDiePie?
Yeah, so that's the only downside to me.
And that's why Disney backed out way long ago when when the anti-Semitic things happened.
I mean, what this is really coming down to is, in 2020, PewDiePie will be our president, and I'm just wondering what Supreme Overlord PewDiePie
he won't be
will
able
do.
to. He's gonna have to get, like, dual citizenship or something. Isn't he Swedish or something?
I think he is, yeah, actually. So he'll be Supreme Overlord of the world by then, though.
He won't want. It'll be worse than current president. He won't want to because he's rich. Like, why would you?
Yeah, that's true. Oh man, I wish we had a politic podcast, because there's, like, so much new stuff going on that I totally want to talk about, and, like, stuff from the 50s and 60s that, like, just cropped up, like, recently, and it's a whole bunch of other stuff. You guys should like listen to NPR and watch the news and try and keep an open mind, because there's so much interesting stuff happening right now. It's literally history going on. So
we should another podcast spinoff.
Right, back to the video gaming news, though. Actually, this isn't video game. This one I actually hate. They announced the official title for the Han Solo film. I don't know if you guys saw this. Most of you guys listening that are Star Wars fans had to have.
I did see it.
Please sound off. Go to the Facebook group, facebook.com/NerdChillsPodcast, or tweet at us at nerd_chills, and let us know. The Han Solo film would be called Solo. And it's the Star Wars logo with the bar around it that says Solo, and underneath it says A Star Wars Story, similar to Rogue One.
Should have a cup. Like the
right?
red cup.
They could have just put a red Solo cup there and just not said anything, and I think it would have been a better title. I don't know. This is the thing. I can't articulate with my words why this bothers me so much. All I know is that it does. It feels fucking lazy. And I love Ron Howard. I fucking love Ron Howard movies. Super excited for this movie.
It'll probably be great.
I don't like prequels in general. I don't like the idea of revisiting Han's story. But the fact that Ron Howard's involved, I'm like, totally going to go see it. But my instincts are just so off about this movie. It's like, I don't know what the storyline's going to be. I don't care about like young Lando, even though it's like one of my favorite young actors. I love Danny Glover, right? Donald Glover.
Danny Glover.
I get it confused. I think that's
Donald
his dad.
Glover.
And it's totally not true.
Donald Glover.
But it's just like everything about this
Childish
seems wrong.
Gambino.
Right, Childish Gambino just seems wrong, and I'm really worried about it. And the title didn't like soothe my fears.
What did you want it to be called?
I don't know. I really don't like. But the fact that it's just called Solo, it's like, you gonna go see Solo? It just sounds so wrong to me. I don't know what I wanted from it. I don't know what I want from this movie. Basically,
I mean, Han
Solo. I don't know. Maybe like Scruffy Nerf Herder, a Star Wars tale. Like I truly don't know. All right, something I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what to expect. I need to know more about this movie, and then maybe it won't matter what it's called. Like when everyone was calling the Nintendo Switch the Nintendo NX. And they're like, that's what they should call it. It's just a really good code name. They should just keep it that. That's what everyone was fucking saying.
That's what the people said with Scorpio, too.
And then they named the Switch, and everyone's like, that's a terrible name. Everyone's going to hate that name. And then someone in one of the podcasts I listened to is like, if it comes out and it does well, no one will give a shit, and everyone will forget that no one liked the name. And I'm like, I had to look up that it was called the NX because I've already forgotten. So if this movie comes out and it's awesome, I won't give a shit. But I'll never call it Solo. I'm like, hey, did you see the Han Solo movie? Like, that's what
it'll definitely be
Yeah.
fully pronounced every time.
Yeah, no one's going to be like, you're going to go see Solo. And if they do, it just sounds wrong.
I think that, I don't know, I think the codename thing is so dumb. Like, the fact that the Scorpio edition of the Xbox One is, like, got Scorpio all over it. And I'm like, it's not even the name of the thing.
Right.
Like, you could have, they just should have called it Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer all
Spencer
over that
box.
thing.
The Phil box. That sounds hot, actually. That's Phil
gross.
box. So, right on. Moving on. This isn't that big of news, but I mean, it's been 20 years since this happened. But E3 is finally getting a new logo. E3's logo has always been a staggered E tilting downwards and a staggered 3 tilting downwards. Now it's just changing basically to a straight up and down, side by side E and 3 with
Everyone's
the lower
sound off.
right. The lower part of the 3 kind of just eclipses the E on the bottom. Very basic, doesn't really fucking matter. I don't think anyone was complaining about the logo before, and I don't think anyone's upset with this new logo. So
I think they should change it because last year they did so many panels, and they're kind of branching into that they could probably change like the general name of it. But I mean, why change the logo if you're not going to change the name?
I think the branding behind the term E3, like that's just what people grew up with.
Yeah.
And I think if they wanted to do that, this would be a good first step to change the logo. But I just don't know what you would change the name to. I really don't. Like Electronics Entertainment Expo, like it's pretty straightforward. And if you were to change it to something else, they could change what the E
like
stands for.
Electronics and lines and panels and stuff.
Yeah. Electronics and a bunch
Expo.
of people that don't shower properly and stuff, and overpriced food that'll make you shit your pants. So always eat off-site. That's what I've learned from going there. Just don't eat.
That awful.
The food court made me run to the bathroom.
Really?
Yeah, you don't know that because you weren't
God.
there. You were walking around with Robin, just getting all this free stuff and skipping lines and stuff because you guys are pretty. And I was walking
I don't
around with
remember
someone
skipping
else.
lines.
I just in my head, you guys were like holding hands, and there was like music playing in the background.
How did you know
and
we
you
were
guys had
holding
all
hands?
these experiences. I hate you both. So this last
You
piece,
watched us sit in the South Park line for a day.
I know that made me happy. So, but you guys
Next
have
time,
awesome
I'll go
shirts.
with you and
now.
we can hold hands, Adam.
That sounds good to me. So I can't wait for next year's E3 though. Even though I want to complain about it, I had a fucking blast. I loved every second of that vacation. It was exhausting. I had a job interview over the phone. I had to go to the 3rd floor of the LA Convention Center to get Wi-Fi, and it was super stressful. And I loved every fucking second of being there. So I cannot wait for next year. I can't wait for BlizzCon, which is in 10 days. I think.
What?
So.
That's crazy.
Yep. Last piece of additional news before we get to the main topic. We talked about YouTubers and demonetization of their videos because of Nintendo. And most recently, it hit. October 19th is when this article is dated. YouTubers were hit with demonetization of South Park, the fractured butthole videos that were being posted. Which, I gotta be honest, I did not fucking see that coming. However, the guys who own South Park, Vivendi Entertainment, I'm pretty sure, they're fucking pricks. They've always been that way. They pulled South Park off of all streaming services. They made it so you could only stream it on their own website. They made it very difficult for people to access the product because they thought the product was that strong. And in their defense, they're right. South Park is that strong, and people will bend over backwards to watch it. And people will bend over backwards to like find YouTube content or streaming content of these games. But what the fuck's the point, man? Like, I just don't get it. I really don't.
I don't really get the point. I mean, I will say that they are right, because that's the type of game where, like, when I'm getting ready or something in the morning, I'm like, I wish I could just watch it. Like, I could just watch it be played, because it's like an extended South Park universe. It's almost like watching an episode of South Park.
Right.
And so, like, part of me just wishes I could watch someone play, but of course this is the one game that I can't really watch someone play.
It just affects a lot of people that are streamers that have advertisers that they're selling, like, time to.
Yeah.
And it's like, I understand that you don't want them selling time while they stream your game because you feel entitled to it. But
See,
all
but
the people
in the article, it only says YouTube though.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's YouTube live streamers particularly. They're not really doing
Yeah.
it to Twitch, and
Like
That's
Twitch,
weird.
like there's
I
tons
honestly
of people
wonder
streaming it on Twitch.
if
It
they
was-
don't even know that they should be doing it to Twitch as well.
I'm
Or
not
if there's
sure.
something in a Twitch agreement where the advertisers, like,
Maybe it's different.
it's got to be a
I think
different
it's because
sort of
Twitch
agreement.
pays. I think that's why. I think it's Twitch paying them for the content, not like the game itself. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's really weird. But like even right now, it's fallen a little bit. It's in the top. It's still in the top 10, but it was in the top 5 just about
Wouldn't
every
you-
day.
I would rather have my game be in the top 5 than be worried about losing out on a tiny slice of an advertising budget
Oh, yeah.
that people are paying to a YouTuber. I think it's stupid, to be honest with you, but
Top
YouTubers
5
are
on Twitch
coining
is insane.
all of the demonetization recently as the Adpocalypse, which is a shitty title, but whatever. They're going with it. But I just think it's funny because I feel like every week we're going to be bringing you a new update of a game that got pulled off of someone's stream channel, which is crazy because you figure you would want people to see your product, but I guess some companies are big enough where they think that anyone that sees their product owes them something, especially if they're like selling ad space on it, even if it might be like fucking Dollar Shave Club, Dollar Shave Club, like Blue Apron, and one other one, Nature Box Snacks. They sell advertising space on all the podcasts that I listen to, and those guys buy up that shit.
Yeah.
Like, for everything. I can't imagine that they're making bank off of the advertising budget that they got paid out from Dollar Shave Club.
I
But
don't
know.
they're pulling like everything they can right now. It's bizarre to me.
I don't know what to think of it. Like, maybe it's just the fact of, like, because so many people do just watch video games played. Like, maybe that's part of it. It's just, like, because so many people just watch video games, like, they'd rather hopefully hold that back. And then, A, they make the money off the advertisement if people do want to watch it. And, B, they sell a game because someone's just like, I'll just go buy the game and play it.
Right. I don't feel like a lot of people do that.
Probably
I don't feel like
not.
they look for a game to watch, and when they can't find the content, they're like,
They
I'll
decide
just
to
buy
buy
it.
the game.
I
Yeah,
feel like
probably
they're like,
not.
if I don't know what it looks like, I'm just not going to get it.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I am. Like, if I'm like on the fence about a game, I want to see what it looks like. I didn't want Fortnite. Saw someone playing, I'm like, I kind of want it now. And then Fortnite was like, by the way, it's free for now.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm downloading it right now. Like, that's everything I needed to hear. And those are things that most companies
Yeah.
would never do. And now if they're going to charge me to play the Fortnite Battle Royale mode, I will almost definitely pay it. Like, I'll pay like whatever fee they're going to charge. It'll probably want to be in $60 when it's finalized, just be part of the normal game. But until then, like, I'm so happy that I don't have to do that. So,
I think it's going to get popular enough to where it'll just. I feel like it's going to become its own like standalone $20 game.
that's in the top 5 consistently on everything I
Yeah.
stream watch.
Well,
Fortnite
it's like
is
what I
now,
was thinking,
and it
like
wasn't before.
in terms of getting your game out there, getting your name out there. As of right now, even though TwitchCon is going on, which is blown up to be a massive convention, they're still in the top 5 games as of right now. 250,000 plus people watching. Whether it be League of Legends, Hearthstone, PlayerUnknown, Counter-Strike, Warframe, or IRL, there's 250 plus thousand people right now watching people play games, and
Those
to
are
me,
people
there's
that would
no
buy your
other
game if they
way.
like what they're
There's
watching.
no better way to advertise than that. Even right now,
Yes.
there's 15,000 people watching people play South Park.
Yeah, and it's like, what happens if they decide, like, we don't want Twitch doing it either? I think the
Yeah.
reason that they pull it from YouTube is because it's not as popular as Twitch.
And like,
to be
here's
quite
the
frank.
thing, right? Twitch. So I think here's probably why you can stream it on Twitch and still make money. Twitch started their Twitch by Game service. So game is $59.99. I'm on a Twitch partner stream right now. At the bottom of it, it says you can buy the game now for $59.99. Get a Twitch promotional pack. Requires you play, so requires you buy the certain what's that called? Application to launch it. and the purchase revenue will be shared with the content creator, and I'm assuming Twitch is probably going to get some, and the game creator is going to get some. So that's probably why it's on Twitch, because you can actually just purchase the game right from the Twitch hub right now.
I mean, it just seems like whatever's best for the gamer would be best for the person selling it. And
Yeah.
I feel like everything that's happening is to the contrary of that, and sooner or later it's going to come to a head where it's like people are going to start not buying your shit because of it. Like with the
Or
whole
not watching
Kojima
stuff, like maybe.
yeah, like Kojima Konami, like Konami thought they could treat Kojima like shit, and they didn't realize like he's kind of a cultural icon at this point, dude. And, like people will stop buying your fucking games if this continues, and it's happened to them now. And they're like, we don't even care. We just make slot machines now.
It's just like anything, something becomes super popular and then it's really great and then rules and issues start to come up and then everyone wants to capitalize on the idea and then it dies.
Yeah, and everyone's holding out their hand like, well, we want our slice of the pie.
Nice.
So our main topic of the show, we kind of alluded to it. We didn't give you guys exactly what was going on. Most of you have probably heard this by now. But we did have a big piece of news. EA has decided to shutter Visceral Games. Visceral Games developed multiple successful titles, including stuff like Battlefield Hardline, which I absolutely loved. They're currently working on the Star Wars single-player experience that's being headed up, or was, I should say, by Amy Hennig. If you've never heard of Amy Hennig, she was a major player in Naughty Dog, and she wrote the Uncharted franchise storyline. So she knows what the fuck she's doing. She's like a titan of industry in the gaming world. Yeah. And they basically came in, released a statement, and people are so mad about this. Like Penny Arcade, the guys who release those comics that are cute and funny, they release a comic every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Their Friday comic came with an editorial afterwards, just absolutely fucking shredding the guy who released this statement, and telling them that they destroy content that users want because all they care about is money. Their comic strip wasn't even funny. It was just their characters telling EA and calling this guy by name in their comic strip, telling him, like, the only thing we know about you is you destroy things we care about. Like, it's such a hardcore backlash reaction. But they basically came out, and this is the statement they said. It's a little bit long, but they said, the games we want to play and spend time with, the experiences we want to have in those games, the way we play, all those things are continually changing. As a result of this change, Visceral will be closing down, and EA is, quote, in the midst of shifting as many of the team as possible to other projects at EA. They're going to completely refocus the Star Wars project, which is interesting because back in the day they had the single-player game that they announced. I think it was Star Wars 1313. We've referenced it on the show before, which was supposed to be a bounty hunter that you were playing that everyone was excited for. LucasArts got sold to Disney. The project got canceled. Everyone was lamenting it. Then they came in and said, hey, we're creating a single-player Star Wars experience. We've hired someone who knows how to make a game that everyone loves, to create a franchise and build around it and write a serious storyline that people will enjoy and also make it fun and funny. They came in and they basically said, like, hey, it turns out she was making a fucking single-player game this entire time with a storyline. Everyone's like, yeah, we know. Well, they don't want that. They're going to shift it to something else, and almost assuredly it's going to be a shared world shooter like Destiny. Because we've talked about it on the show before. Everyone wants to have their games be a service now. Like, Square Enix said they're going to be doing it. Blizzard's been doing it for a while. Obviously, Bungie is doing it now with Destiny. Like, Ubisoft is doing incredibly well. They do it with Wildlands. They do it with Siege. They do it with The Division. And all those games sell incredibly well.
Yeah.
And EA decided to come in and take a successful studio, shut it down, say we're going to refocus this, we're going to move it to a different studio, and we're going to take the person that's known for making single-player experiences that people love and get rid of it. And the thing that they didn't count on when they did this is the fact that this isn't exactly what people want. People do want games like Destiny, people do want games like Division, but they also want stuff like Uncharted. And this is a license and a franchise that's extremely important to people that they keep basically getting cock-teased with. Like, hey, we're going to give you something great and never mind. Mm-hmm. And this was very far in development. This is almost like Scalebound, except that it hadn't been like deemed 80% complete and showed at like conferences. But you basically took someone. You basically took someone in Amy Hennig who everyone would like to work and just basically made her unemployed. Like, we brought you in here and gave you free control, and now we're going to take it away from you and the project entirely and change everything about it. And it's like maybe they'll put her on it, maybe they won't. And I think it comes down to whether or not she wants to be on it. But it sparked the debate of whether or not the single-player game experience is dying, again. I've been reading these articles since 2010, but the difference is now people are worried about it because the companies see how much money things make. And what's hilarious about that argument to me is I don't care if you're Hearthstone or The Division or any of the other experiences like Destiny 2. Grand Theft Auto 5 still makes the most money out of all those. And it is a shared world in the online mode, but they have a single-player campaign.
Yeah.
It's extremely long, and it's like critically acclaimed, and it's possible to have both. And this definitely seems like a greedy cash grab, yet again from EA.
I don't mind if they have a shared world experience. I don't like in Destiny, and I don't recall them doing this in Wildlands, but I don't like in Destiny that there are times that I have to team up with people that I don't know. Like, it's cool to have the option to team up with my friend that lives in Reno. Like, it's cool to have the option to play with other people. But that's all I want is an option. I don't want to have to play with other people. Because, like, the second you make me try to make friends, I'm out. Like,
that's why I don't play Destiny 2. It's like,
not something I'm interested in.
I want to play single player. Even when I played World of Warcraft, like, extensively,
But
I played by myself until I got to, like, end game content.
how cool would it be if you could hop on with Robin and play Fallout? Like, you guys would love that.
That would be great, but it would be very upsetting if they're like, hey, that world you were creating that I know to be Fallout 4, they're like, we're killing everything about it, and we're going to design a game that's specifically designed around shared world content.
But what if it was just shared world, but Fallout 4?
But what if it was shared world, but Fallout 4 with absolutely no storyline?
No.
And
That would
that's
be
the thing,
awful.
too, is that
Well, even
Fallout,
Destiny has a storyline.
it does, but the original Destiny storyline was
Didn't.
garbage, and they put a lot
Yeah.
of work into this new one that you get to discover together, but they had something already there.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than coming in and saying, like, we're going to add to this game, we're going to add an online mode, we're going to add a different element to it, similar to how Uncharted and Last of Us both had online things. Rather than developing that and making it stronger, they're going to focus on that and, like, literally scrap the single-player experience.
I think what makes it difficult is that so many people want so many different things, and they're trying to give everybody a little bit of what they're looking for, at least. But it's expensive, and it's hard to balance. Like, we've seen a lot of different things in the past where games split teams. Like, one team was working on the multiplayer, one team was working on the single player, and inevitably one of them is horrible. Like Assassin's Creed Unity. Like, they worked
Right.
so hard on that multiplayer that the game was garbage. And even the multiplayer didn't function that great, but they're trying to appease everybody. So I think the shared world games, if they can maintain a storyline, like in Wildlands, but have the option for people to play online in a world with random people or online with their friends, then they're kind of trying to get to everybody. And I get that is hard because I don't want to see any more games where they try to make a multiplayer and the multiplayer is horrible, or they try to make a single player and that doesn't work out.
Yeah, it's hard when it looks like they're really just analyzing this from the business perspective of, well, this is what people want because this
Or
is
what makes the most money because it's EA.
Yeah, and like the thing that okay, CJ, what are your thoughts on that before I get into the next layer of this onion?
On the Visceral Games shutting down?
Yeah,
I mean, it sucks. I wasn't really like too high up on them because anytime they announce a Star Wars single player game, I always kind of know it's just going to be either, I don't want to say a letdown, but I know it's never going to come to fruition. Like it'll get canceled, it'll get delayed. Like it's just something I didn't buy into when they first started talking about it, even with such a good producer at the head of it. And then just the fact that EA was backing it again. Like, EA's screwed up so many things in the past. Like, they couldn't even get Sim City right. Like, if you can't get that game right, how are you supposed to be trusted with one of the biggest franchises in the world right now? So, I didn't buy too into it. It really does suck. Someone who's not too into single-player games, it is really nice to kind of sit down and just a different pace, not having to worry about what are my friends on? What are my friends like? I'm tired of playing alone. Like, it's a game you're supposed to play alone and experience alone, and it's a nice change of pace.
so here's what's really funny to me about this, and there's so many layers to this, and I think it's very complex, and that's why I think people are upset. Is there's things that you've both said that really highlight what's wrong with this situation. The first one is, this is just the point that I'm generally going to make. They're shifting away from the single player experience for a multiplayer experience. Mm-hmm. We've had Battlefront. No single player, no storyline.
Yeah.
What does Battlefront 2 have now that everyone's hyped as fuck about?
A
single player campaign, and like they're putting that in there. So, if you're that worried about a shared world experience, like you could have done that with your actual story-driven game rather than shoehorning a storyline in or shoehorning a multiplayer in. Give it the treatment it deserves. It's not out yet. People haven't really seen anything of it.
Yeah.
Take your time with it. Don't pivot away, piss everyone off. Shut down the studio that's working on it that is good at multiplayer games, which is fucking bizarre. Because you've already done it. You've already given us a multiplayer-only Star Wars game. We don't need that. It's like we're already going to get a game that has a new version of a single-player campaign. So I don't know what you're doing, but if you're looking at, hey, what have we sold as EA executives? If you're looking at what have we sold that hasn't sold well? Well, Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 kind of tanked. Well, you released it around Call of Duty and Battlefield, 3 first-person shooters on the market at the exact same time. Titanfall 2 had arguably the best campaign storyline. And they're like, well, it doesn't matter, obviously. It doesn't matter if it did critically well. People still didn't buy it.
Yeah.
Well, that's their fault for releasing it when they fucking did. It's like, you shouldn't have dropped it in the middle of the 2 juggernauts that it's like the second installment. And what was Titanfall 1? And what was Titanfall 1's biggest problem? No fucking storyline.
No story.
Only multiplayer
mode. What gets me about the Titanfall thing, they launched the original Titanfall in February.
Yeah.
Like,
and
why not go back
to a November release out of nowhere? Or late October? Like, it didn't have that fan base. And they, like,
it was such a rough game. It was such a rough game to play, not just from no single player, but from a multiplayer perspective. But because they launched in February, it was after the Call of Duty craze. It was after Battlefield. It was just a good time to launch a game, and they sold a ton of copies, and a ton of people were playing it in the first couple of months because there was really nothing else to do. Because people were waiting around for E3, people were waiting around for May releases. So I don't know why they switch gears and try to put something in between the release of Call of Duty and Battlefield, and people already had a bad taste in their mouth because the first Titanfall fell off really quickly. So I was super confused.
They let that get swallowed up, and it's almost like they're holding that game's failures against it. And it's like, if you set someone up to fail, they're most likely going to fail.
I just think it's indicative of companies trying to appease everybody. And I think it's partially them not wanting to make multiple games or wanting to get that online play because then they have more people buying games and consoles and live subscriptions. But also just the fact that, like, all the time we have people ask us about, like, Witcher. They're like, I've heard Witcher's great. Is it multiplayer? Oh, I'm like, it's like people can't accept when a game is single player.
Right.
And so many people want, like, they want everything. They want to be able to play multiplayer if they want to. They want to be able to sit on their couch and play with their friend. It's like, you can't have every feature of every game.
Games
That's not
are
a
different
thing.
Inherently, and you have to let them be that way.
Exactly.
And what's funny about that is that there's 2 more main points I want to bring up. I know this episode's long in the tooth, but something that Charlie hit on, like, right away is that the shit's expensive. It's
Robin.
extremely right. It's extremely expensive to make a video game.
Yeah.
And GTA 5 is the exception to the rule. That it keeps being in the top 5 for some reason,
And it
3 or
was
4
the
years.
most expensive game to create.
Ever.
Yeah.
But they're selling it for $60 a pop, and people keep buying it. But people don't keep buying that game for the single-player experience over and over. They're buying it because of all the stuff they're changing about
and it's
their
coming
online
out,
environment.
And on top of that, it's still a $60 game.
Yeah,
There's
they have
so
not
much
lowered the
stuff that's
price.
been released. It's still a $60 game. There's no season pass. There's no additional DLC you have to buy. You just can buy money if you want to help you in the game. Like,
So if you're spending that much money on creating a game, and you're only making a single-player game, and it doesn't have a tag of a franchise like Witcher did, or like Grand Theft Auto did, now it seems like, hey, these companies that are publishing these games, that are putting the games out, you might develop it, but the people that are actually sending it out and giving you a fuck ton of money to do this, the reality of it is they might not even make their money back. So that is scary for a company, even if it's EA, and they just sit on piles of money, and that's just what they are. They want to stay that way. So if they're looking at, hey, what do we dump money into a black hole on, and they're saying it's single-player experiences, then what it comes down to is, when I was a kid, a really high AAA third-party, a AAA game was like $80.
Yeah.
And then like a shitty experience was like $40 or $30, which is why people nowadays, when stuff gets released, if they see that it's $40, they're like, ooh,
Yeah, like,
it's going to be bad. It's like, you could literally, like, the Crash trilogy was like $40, wasn't it? And people were like, oh god, it's $40. It was still really fucking good. People love that game.
I think also it's hard because, you know, like, we talk about this game a lot, so sorry to bring it back up, but Kingdoms of Amalur, like, they put tons of money into that game, and it was a small studio, and it died. It killed their studio, even though they made money on that game.
It bankrupted Kurt Schilling, and he was a multimillionaire.
It's like Visceral is a great example of a company that you would think in every way, shape, or form is healthy, but they were like, we're closing it because they can't they're not like Rockstar. They can't put in like a ridiculous amount of money and just bank everything on it.
Right.
And so I think that that's going to change things as well. Like, a lot of indie developers make good single player experiences, but I just don't know if a single player experience is enough for them to sell a ton of copies, and that might be part of it too.
And I think what it comes down to for me now is I've paid $60 for my video games for probably the last 10, 15 years. That's been the standard. Mm-hmm. And if companies want to deliver a single player AAA experience, what's to stop them from saying, hey, game's $80 fucking dollars? The fact that people won't buy it first and foremost, but you can't do that in the current culture of game's $80, also here's a season pass. If you say game's $80, if they sold GTA 5, said game's $80, here's everything we're going to release for it, you don't have to pay for a season pass, people would have still bought that.
50% of people already do that because roughly 50% of people end up with the season pass anyways, so you can complain about it all you want, but at least they're just giving it to you up front. Like,
you've been trained at this point to pay $110 for a full experience, and I'm talking about AAA Call of Duty 4 to 6 hour single player experience, multiplayer mode where they say, hey, we're only going to give you 16 extra maps from the second you buy this game till then. They're going to be $15 for each 4 or $50 for all 16. And the fact that we do that, I don't do it personally, but that people do that willingly, and then when they say like, oh my god, this single player experience is just so terrifying, we don't need to waste any fucking money on it, and it seems to have gotten less and less and less. It's like, okay, it's like we're going to reach ahead here where it's like, if a studio's going to get bankrupted by the fact that they're creating something like that, sooner or later the gaming standard of $60 per game is gonna be up. It's gonna be changed.
Well, this is why DLC even, I think, exists, is because for years they've test marketed making games more expensive and people weren't having it, and that's why we got a higher accessory cost.
Yes.
And maybe, depending on how much of a conspiracy theorist you are, a lower quality of accessories, because they found that test marketing accessories at $10 more worked. But games, like, every time they've test marketed it, people are like, I will not spend $70 on a game.
If Legend of Zelda would have launched at $80, I would have bought it at $80. Because I would have known that's a $300 game that I'm going to get. But I know I'm in the exception to the rule because I know, like, hey, I'm going to pay for my experience. But I bought the fucking $25 season pass so I could get the extra content. And if I would have gotten that anyways, I would have paid the same amount. But they can't come up front and say it. It's always this, like, back alley bullshit. And I think what's really funny about this that no one gives credit for, CJ's a multiplayer guy. CJ's top 7 list, what's your number 1 game of all time, CJ?
I think I put Call of Duty.
It was Final Fantasy 7.
Oh yeah, no, Final Fantasy 7. Yeah. Call of Duty was 3.
How many?
Liar.
You had Last of Us in there. You have single player experiences that last.
I had 3. I had Final Fantasy 7, Last of Us, and I technically picked Halo for the single player experience.
And it's just funny.
I wasn't a big multiplayer guy.
People will buy single player experiences because they actually want that. And it's bizarre to me that they don't think that single player experiences are impactful. When the biggest criticisms from people who don't buy Call of Duty is that they don't have a storyline I care about. It's like, I don't just want to play multiplayer.
Has really good storylines.
They've started to invest into
was one
it
of my points
when they started bringing in like Kevin Spacey or Kit Harington.
Yeah, but I meet so many people who are like, I never touched a single player. Like, they just go straight to multiplayer. They don't even give it a shot.
Yeah, and that's like the mindset of the people at EA is like, this is just what people want. They don't give a shit about single player experiences. And like, the fact that indies are doing so well right now while selling their games at fucking $10, $15, $20 is proof that that's 100% not true.
I just think considering how much consoles are costing, that's why I mean, you can add up a few games and realize that you've paid, way more in games than you will console or like a console. But if like Breath of the Wild, for example, if that had been an $80 game, that's almost a third of the cost of your console, and I think that's what makes it a hard pill to swallow.
It is, but at the same time, like, financially from the side of, like, hey, the cost of everything in this country has skyrocketed over the past 15, 20 years.
And this has not gone up in the last decade.
The cost for video games has stayed the exact same. So the development of a video game, like, from every asset that you're going to use, everything that you do, all the overhead of being a developer or publisher is astronomically high, and you're just struggling to make your money back. So when you look at stuff like, hey, if they buy this one time and play it all the way through, they might buy it again, but if it's not a continuous online experience, there's no reason for them to fucking keep it. And without stuff like loot boxes or new shaders or any way that we can get people to pay us a little bit of extra money all the fucking time while they continually play it. Like, the reason Grand Theft Auto collects so much money isn't the fact that it's in the top 5. It's because people pay for those fucking shark cards because they want the new fucking car that just came out, or they want to buy all that crazy shit. And they convert real money to in-game money. It's not that they keep buying that game, which is astonishing that they do, which directly contradicts the fact that a continuous online multiplayer experience doesn't need to be repurchased, because that's why that game is so successful, because it has both. But when they look at something like Destiny, that is Bungie's cash cow, it's like, we all need to emulate that. It's like, or you could give us something fucking different, man. Like, everyone's going to rush to do that. Everyone's going to rush to make some sort of online multiplayer experience that's persistent, and then the fad will have faded. And if you have everything, a multiplayer experience that never ends, that's never complete, you're going to have to invest yourself into one fucking game. Like, I don't play Destiny because I want to play other shit too.
Yeah.
And it's like, how the hell are you going to actually have a model where
you have to stay
everything out there
and
is the same experience? It's like, yeah, maybe it's different experiences, but it's continuous. Like, what if I just want to play something for a week and be done with it? Like Friday the 13th, where I'll go back to it and play it.
I think the other hard part is, like, how do you unring the DLC bell? So if we started making games more expensive, honestly, we're just going to end up paying more, because people are going to, if they don't right off the bat make the DLC, then eventually they'll start making DLC for those $80 games.
I feel like they've already tried to lay the groundwork for unringing the bell with the deluxe editions.
Yeah.
Like, after a year into it, when people weren't buying that shit, they're like, well, if you buy this, like, deluxe edition or whatever they call this stupid shit, the ultimate edition, it's cheaper than buying the game and the season pass separate. Or it's almost the exact same cost, but you're literally saying, like, I'm going to pay $110 for a video game with some code inside it.
To me, I think that speaks more to the fact that they don't sell very many collector's editions. So I think that instead of making a limited amount of collector's editions, they just started to make 1 million of the deluxe edition. So, like, for Star Wars, people are always shocked that there's no collector's edition, but there's a deluxe edition. But literally 2/3 of the copies they sell are deluxe editions. So it's like, we can sell them. We can sell 5,000 of a collector's edition that's, $200 or $150, or we can sell a ridiculous amount of deluxe editions at just $20 more.
And what's funny about deluxe editions, like I remember with Battlefront and Battlefront 1, is there was the regular and the deluxe. Regular is $59.99, deluxe is $69.99. Deluxe didn't come with any of the extra DLC. It was like, you get a couple extra guns,
weapons,
and that's the shit that they sell in the loot boxes and the all those crates, and like,
you just get it early.
Everyone gets that shit. It's like, it's just an upcharge of $10. So if you were to say, like, it's an upcharge of $20, but there's no season pass, you get everything for it. That's the thing, though. People want the option of $59.99.
It's like a payment plan.
Yeah, and it's bizarre to me that this is the culture we live in now, and it sucks because, and I'm gonna blame them, because the first time I ever experienced this was in fucking Madden. And I played that game every goddamn year. I'd go into the franchise mode. I'd do everything. And I'd take my season to like 2100. Like the year 2100, where everyone was a computer-generated character. And then all of a sudden, one year I bought it. And when I was trying to advance my players and like build out my depth chart, they're like, oh, this player last year only advanced moderately, not the highest maximum level of advancement. To unlock the maximum level of advancement, please pay $9.95 to da-da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, fuck this. I will literally never buy this game again. And that was in like 2008. And that was so long ago. It might be even longer than that. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? And I had a feeling gaming forever had changed. And now we're at a point where it's like, it has changed so badly. People can't take a game that everyone wants made and do it. Because people are like, well, how will we get more money out of them? They're only going to buy this game one time. We got to change it. We got to change everything about it. And they take someone who knows everything about creating a great gaming experience and a storyline that people want to hear, and they're like, shut that shit down. Close the fucking studio down, and it's just gone in the blink of an eye.
Well, it's also part of, like, new IPs not doing well. So Star Wars, Star Wars does great because it's recognizable. Everyone is familiar with Star Wars. So they don't want to make as many new experiences, all new games, because they know Star Wars will sell. So we're getting to a point where, are we going to get to a place where there are indie games, and those are all the new ideas, and then the big publishers only make the shit that we have bought repeatedly, and then they're not going to make a new game like every year unless you're like Assassin's Creed. So they're going to just start making games that they think will last ages, like Grand Theft Auto.
I think we're almost already there, because it's like my big games that I was excited about are Zelda. People also are excited about Super Mario. This is shit from the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, we're excited about Red Dead Redemption 2, Grand Theft Auto 5. These are the big developers who don't have to worry about that shit, who have the time that they could do that for whatever they want. And then someone like CD Projekt Red just did Witcher 3, which did incredibly well. And now they're going to be doing their Cyberpunk game. And it's like, they have the right now. They've earned the right to come up with a brand new idea. And Cyberpunk could bankrupt their fucking studio. It really could.
It's just like big named companies are only going to make what they know will sell, and they're going to make it for longevity if they can. They'll just do DLC,
especially someone like EA,
and make it last. And then all the new ideas are going to come from smaller publishers who are willing to take those risks or care a lot about their idea.
It's just stunning to me that EA had a very good gaming studio and a brilliant writer and lead developer for that, and a franchise that people will throw their money at regardless of if that game sucks. And they still came in, they're like, change fucking everything. And they shut that shit down in the blink of an eye. And I think that there's been such backlash on this, we will hear more. Obviously, Amy Hennig hasn't said much since this happened. And everything that I've heard, like, on my Sony podcast said, like, Sony needs to get her. They need to put her on whatever fucking studio she wants. Make her exclusive to Sony. Xbox said the same fucking thing. So, I mean, for that woman, this could be the best thing that ever happened to her. Because someone's going to walk in there and be like, we're going to make right what EA did not... Like, what EA fucked up, we're going to make right. We're going to give you whatever you want, make us whatever you want, and we'll get you whatever team you want. But the fact that, like, it was a franchise that I love on a game that I was... This is like if they decided to start doing Scalebound again. They're not going to call it Scalebound, but it's something that's exactly like it. If Scalebound has been around since the fucking 70s and billions of people loved it, and then they just decided to kill it off, and everyone's sitting around like, why the fuck did you do that for the second time? So everything was just in order for this, and I was so excited for this, and they killed it.
They should have waited until after it came out, and honestly, I don't think EA has any business being related to Star Wars, because Star Wars is such a beloved franchise that, like, they can't do it right.
They're so hated.
They're not gonna do it right.
Yeah, if they screw anything up, everyone will be like, this is just EA destroying my childhood.
Yeah. Doing EA things.
And, like, I know this is a pretty sweeping generalization, but anyone who works anywhere knows that there's two types of people wherever you work. There's the person that doesn't know anything about the job that's being done, or the person it's being done for, which is typically a customer, and in this case would be the person that would buy the game. And that person's usually in charge of all the creative decisions on what's going to happen with something. And then there's the person that actually knows the fuck they're doing, that very often has absolutely no say. And I think that's what drives everyone in their job crazy, is you get told that you're doing something wrong or to do something different by a person that doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about, and you do, and you have to keep your mouth shut, and if you speak up, they'll be like, well, too fucking bad. And this is like the most public, well, too fucking bad that all of us have seen in a really long time. And we're like, well, you know what? Fuck you. Like, that is just a really hard pill to swallow. And we've dissected this thing from every angle, from multiplayer versus single player, from cost, first, all that. And no matter how you slice this, man, you fucked up, EA. Like, big time. Like, I've literally reconsidered getting Battlefront 2. And I'm still going to get it, because I like the two people they hired to write the storyline. I mean, the guy who did Spec Ops The Line is writing the storyline for fucking Battlefront 2.
I think that, hopefully the indie developers will start getting some chances, like, because it would be amazing. And granted, the thing is, Disney, this doesn't matter to Disney. Like, Star Wars video games are probably not their big thing. They're like, we're just going to pass it off to this company. They are paying us the most money or whatever the case. But if they could just give, like, they could probably take almost all the profits from a game that was made by an indie developer. Like, it'd be like, we're going to pay you to make this. You're not going to make a lot on it, but it's going to blow your studio up, and we know you'll do a good job of it. Like, they could do a lot with that franchise, but just they don't really care about it, probably.
Disney would probably, like, literally, Disney handed this off to EA. Here's 10 years to have the Star Wars license, do whatever the fuck you want with it.
Yeah.
They would not have blinked an eye at anything EA did.
Yeah.
And now all the attention in the fucking world is on this Star Wars game that got canceled and how pissed everyone is. And the only reason EA would ever be looked at by Disney again is like, what the fuck did you do?
Yeah.
Why are we hearing how mad everyone is about this game that everyone was just waiting for? That would be like if they just came in, they're like, so we canceled episode 9. We're going to pivot this, and it's going to have vampires and werewolves because those are really popular with the kids. And the people that were writing it, we fired, even though that they're critically acclaimed and great at their jobs. Disney would never fucking do that because they're literally setting money on fire. And EA's not doing this because they give a fuck about the Star Wars license. They're doing this because they want to make more money off the Star Wars license. And it's like, okay, well, how long has that game been in development? Like, literally since the day that you got the Star Wars license? Well, now you're starting all over. And what happens if you release this shit and the fad of multiplayer shooters is gone? Or whatever the fuck they're going to try and turn it into that's a shared online world. It's like, people want single-player experiences again. It's fucking cyclical. And they're chasing their goddamn tails on it because they're so jealous of what other people have accomplished.
I just think and this has completely gotten off topic, but I just think that if I were in charge of anything Star Wars related, I would make sure that the project went to someone who loved the fuck out of Star Wars.
Right.
Because that's what you need. And I would have found that person and then been like, you do not get to leave this project. Like, you are in charge of it because that's the only way you can really get the most, like, make it something that Star Wars fans are going to appreciate.
Yeah, and now it's like, who the hell knows is going to come out? Seriously, like, I don't know. But we've beaten this topic to death. I'm happy we did it because I was very excited for this game for the second time.
Because you didn't want it to live.
Right? So it's crazy, and I'm sure we'll see more about this as time goes on. But we'll see. I don't think single-player experiences are in danger of becoming extinct. I think where they come from is going to shift, if it already hasn't, and continue to, like you said, indie developers, and then we'll see what happens.
Just, all I have to say is enjoy what you have. If you have a good single-player experience, enjoy that. Don't sit there wondering why there's no multiplayer. If you have a good multiplayer experience, that's rare, but you don't wonder why there's no single player. Like, just appreciate what it is.
You don't even have to be open-minded. Just try shit. Don't be the person that walks into a store and says, like, I hear this game is amazing, but I don't like the graphics. It's like, oh, this game is the highest selling game of all time. Yeah, but the language. It's like, be an adult. And if you're not an adult, like, be a person that actually wants to have different experiences within the world of video games or any other medium for that sake. Like, if you're reading books and you're like, yeah, but I heard the protagonist is a female and I'm a guy and I really can't read it from the perspective of a woman.
Can't relate.
Like, are you fucking serious? Like, don't you want to read something or don't you want to play a game about someone that has a different perspective than you? Does everything have to mirror your experience or your preference? Because then you'll never find anything that you like. So just try different things and stop being so vocal about the things that you should like but
you don't like.
It's just you're ruining things for yourself and other people, and morons are listening to you that are somehow in charge of very important things, and it's absolutely fucking bizarre to me. It's the prequels all over again. It really is. It breaks my fucking heart.
Yep.
So that's everything I got. CJ, do you have anything left in the tank?
No, I mean, I think we pretty much covered everything.
Right on. Charlie, anything left? Any final thoughts you want to leave with our listeners?
No, I think we nailed it.
Right on. This has been episode 42 of the Nerd Chills podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Adam Diaz at the Adam Diaz on Twitter. You can also email me at malum@nerdchills.net. You can find me on facebook.com/nerdchillspodcast. I'm on there all the time. Me and Robin post a ton of articles because we're crazy about that stuff. If you want to get a hold of us on the show, you can email nerdchills@nerdchills.net. You can go onto our Patreon and send us messages there. You can also donate a little bit of money to us. That would be fantastic. If you donate $3 or more, you get early access by about 24 hours to the podcast, which is awesome. You can also tweet at us at nerd_chills. And I think that's just about everything for the show and myself. CJ, if the fine folks wanted to find you, where could they do so?
At Sacred Infinity on Twitter. Sacred Infinity at nerdchills.net. Twitch.tv/Sacred Infinity, which I'll probably be streaming on right after this. So feel free to
2
come
days
hang
ago.
out.
All right, feel free to jump into your time machine and travel back to Saturday.
Well, yeah, I'm going to be off Monday, so I'll be streaming all day. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Right on.
Anyway, and I mean, that's pretty much it. It's been nice hanging out in your ear this Monday morning. So thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. And Charlie, where can the fine folks find you?
On Twitter, it's Charlie with an EY _NC as in Nerd Chills. And you can also email me. Be the second email I've ever gotten.
Oh, snap.
Charlie@nerdchills.net.
Cool. And don't forget, we are having a contest this October for all you listeners out there who share the show, whether it be on Twitter or Facebook. Use the hashtag NerdChillsContest, and the person who shares the most will win a grab bag. We have for sure committed a Star Wars poster that you will receive. And then we have some other stuff that we're kicking around ideas of tossing in as well. But just go ahead and share the episode when you see it on your social media. And if you want to toss an @ and the show itself, if you're doing it on Twitter, go right ahead, because we will definitely give you a thumbs up and say nice things about you on air. Everyone is currently tied, I believe, at 0 still. Is that number correct, CJ?
Out of everyone who is not us, correct, yes.
Right on. I have a feeling we're going to get a couple shares this week, because I've had people inquire about the contest. So that's what it is, in case you were wondering. So that's everything we have for episode 42. CJ, go ahead and sign us out.
All right. Well, we'll leave you again. Try to go another week without us. It'll be okay. We'll be back next Monday. And take a chill pill. We'll see you next Monday.
See ya.
Bye.